1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 253, Twins at White Sox.
Welcome back, baseball fans. 1971-74 Summer League. We are back in the American League today. Best of 7 series in the American League Midwest between the Twins and the White Sox. Let's just get right into this series and see what has happened. Beginning in a Game 1. Opening up in Chicago. Twins at White Sox. Bert Blyleven against Stan Bonson. This lineup came from the comments section from one of our featured viewers with Louis Aparicio, Orta, DH, Henderson, Allen May, Melton, Bradford, Egan, and Dent. We plugged this lineup in. Let's see how good it plays. Bottom of the second inning. A walk, a fielder's choice, a single, and a sac fly by Bud Bradford. 1-zip. Third inning. Bad defense by the Twins. That's going to be a key in this game. A 2-base error by Heisel. An RBI double. It's 2-zip. Stan Bonson has a little bit of trouble in the 5th inning. A single by Holt. 2-run homer by Kurt Blefary. And a solo home run by George Mitterwald. 3-2 Twins. But it would all fall apart for Blyleven in the 8th inning, and not much of it is his doing. A leadoff double by Dick Allen. After a Carlos May strikeout, the Twins implode defensively. You get a fly ball out to Tony Oliva, a 2-base error, the game's tied. Then a ground ball to third baseman Killebrew, who actually that was Soderholm, who was brought in as a defensive replacement. He kicks it anyway. And then Carew boots a ground ball, and the guy who reached in Oliva's era, Melton, scores. 3 consecutive errors by the Twins, and a gift, just a gift given to the White Sox. It is Jack Aker who closes out the game for Bonson, pitching decently in the 9th inning. He walked Killebrew, pinch runner Cleo James got thrown out stealing, and folks, the bases are wide open. This is like the Kentucky Derby out here stealing bases, because we got some pretty lousy throwing arms all over this. Mitterwald +1. You have Blefary +2. You have Tom Egan's a +2, and Bob Stinson's a +1. So these guys are running like crazy. Twins run out of the 9th inning. White Sox win Game 1, 4-3. Let's go to game number 2. Game 2, it would be Wilbur Wood having a disappointing start to his season, but he would right the ship in a Game 2 victory, a 5-1 win. This is close. Second inning, Twins starter Tom Murphy would walk 3 batters in the inning with a single and a sac fly in there. 2-0 Chi Sox. Wilbur Wood loses a little bit of control in the 6th. Walk, single, strikeout, but then a bases-loaded walk to Chico Cardenas. It's a 2-1 game. It goes into the 8th. They go into the Twin bullpen, which has been vulnerable this year. Normally reliable Stan Williams has been terrible. And after a ground out, a single by Dick Allen, a walk by Carlos May, it is a 3-run homer by Bill Melton, having a great year with a long ball, just what the White Sox need. And that insurance helps Wilbur Wood get another complete game, but this time it's a victory for Wilbur Wood. He finally gets a win. 9 innings, 6 hits, a run, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. And the White Sox rip off 2 straight wins at home. Have they turned the corner and start to play like the League Championship Series team of a year ago? Well, let's see what happens when we go to Minnesota for a Game 3. Tom Bradley, great starter for the Chi Sox against Jim Kittycott. And it starts out great for the White Sox. After a sac fly in the bottom of the inning, after a Heisel stolen base, and an error on the throwing arm of Tom Egan, making it 1-0 Twins. Top of 2, you get a Carlos May, a 2-run homer. You get a 2-out RBI double by Aparicio. It's 3-zip. In the 3rd inning, an RBI single by Melton. It's, excuse me, not 3-zip, 3-1. And it's 4-1. Bottom of the 3rd inning, RBI single by Carew. It is 4-2. Stays that way 4-2 until the 8th inning. It is a 4-2 game. Tom Bradley, 7 innings, 6 hits. 4-2 game, 8th inning. You got Joe Lovito and then Carew. Lovito leads off the 8th inning with a single, so they decide to pull Tom Bradley, wanting Terry Forster to come in here and slam the door, the White Sox closer, on the Twins. And of course, it doesn't happen because the White Sox bullpen has been junk for the 2nd year in a row. Terry Forster getting lit up like a Christmas tree trying to finish these games. Tom Bradley has to be sitting puzzled in the dugout going, why didn't they just leave me in there? Because Terry Forster gives up a double, a single, ground out, a walk, and a 3-run homer to Eric Soderholm. And what was once a 4-2 lead turns into a 7-5 defeat. Forster, an inning, 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks. He has been horrible for the Chi Sox. Akers been only slightly better. Lou Krause is the long guy, but he's more of a starting pitcher. And Dave Lemons has been okay as a lefty setup guy. But boy, the White Sox, they got an awful bullpen, and their catchers can't throw the ball. And they put a ton of guys on base, and they don't necessarily bring them in. But can that all change in Game 4? Game 4. We have Stan Bonson on short rest against Burt Blyleven. And Mr. Bonson has this bad knack of getting blown up in an inning and then slamming the door the rest of the time. Unfortunately, in the 1st inning, a single, a Carew stolen base, a Heisel single RBI, a Heisel stolen base, and Tony Oliva 2-run homer. So you have a perfect start with 3 runs with 3 batters. And then again in the 6th inning, after a strikeout, a hit, and a walk, and Bonson's broken. So they bring in Lou Krause. The inherited runners score off Lou Krause. He does a decent job otherwise, getting a long relief shot. The White Sox get home runs in this one by Buddy Bradford, Ken Henderson, and Carlos May. They're all solo shots, though. And Burt Blyleven, after the debacle of Game 1 when his defense let him down, they get the home win for Blyleven. Final score is 7-5, and the Twins have tied this thing up. This is really hard to figure this out. Have not gotten a road win, so it looks like it's really a lackluster White Sox and Twin team, with the Twins being awful and the White Sox being a little bit lousy. But the White Sox would seem to have a better lineup if you can avoid the Twin Hall of Famers. Which brings us to a game number 5. And in Game 5, it is Wilbur Wood on short rest against a very young Dave Goltz. The White Sox tweaked their lineup a little bit from the lineup we were given at the beginning of the series. They moved Orta into the leadoff spot, Tony Muser batting second, 2 lefties at the top against Goltz, who's weak against lefties. It would seem to pay off. They get an RBI single by Melton in the 2nd. They get a 2-run double by Henderson in the 5th. You get RBI double by Bob Stinson. And Louis Aparicio comes off the bench in a pinch hitting role to take over defensively for Orta at short and move Dent from short back to second. And it's a 5-3 game, plenty of offense for Wilbur Wood, and then they go and attack Bill Campbell in the 9th inning for 4 more runs on another Buddy Bradford getting them red hot at the plate, 3-run homer. 9-3 victory for Wilbur Wood, 9 innings, 10 hits, 3 runs, only 1 was earned. Not your typical Wilbur Wood game, but it gets the job done, knocking out a very young Dave Goltz. So, we finally get to see what the White Sox are capable of, getting a road win in Game 5, bringing us back to Chicago for Games 6 and 7 if necessary. The Twins have made some changes. They have unfortunately put Harmon Killebrew on the bench for this one, as they've realized that against right-handed pitchers, he's just kind of ordinary and he offers nothing defensively. And frankly, they've got better players at this point of Killebrew's career. Kind of sad, but he finds himself on the bench as the Twins are down 3-2. Today's starting pitchers, a battle of number 4 guys, so this thing could get out of control. Tom Murphy, 6-17 with the Angels in 71 with a 3.78 ERA and 243 innings, was traded to the Twins. And the White Sox will send their young kid, Bart Johnson, 12-10 with a 2.93 ERA at 178 innings, starter 6. He was the pitcher added to the White Sox rotation, moving Lou Krause into the bullpen. Very similar pitchers, really. But Bart Johnson gives up less home runs. So Tom Murphy, Bart Johnson, questionable defense, questionable catchers throwing arms. This thing could get out of control today. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get started from Comiskey in a Game 6. Leading off, it is Rod Carew. 58's a strikeout. Larry Eisel, 46, another strikeout. And Tony Oliva, 5'11", is a walk. And it's George Mitterwald, the guy to replace Killebrew as he hits for better average and similar amount of power. 55, that's a strikeout. Bottom of 1, it's George batting out of order. 45, rolls a second. Tony Muser, 1-5, rolls a second. And Ken Henderson, 3-6 is a walk. B. Steeler, oh yeah, who's catching? Mitterwald, we're taking off. And we're out stealing. We're just going to keep running the brakes off these catchers until we... normally if you get cut down stealing 3 times for the home team and 2 times for the road team, you're cut off. The bartender takes your car keys and you don't steal anymore. But until that time, these guys are going to run the brakes off these catchers, adding more mischief to this game. Eric Soderholm leading off in the second. 2-7 is a base hit. He has been outstanding, replacing Killebrew as the new Twin third baseman. Jim Holt, 65. Double off the Bart Johnson card. Soderholm, can he score from first on a double? He's a 13, not against Henderson's arm. Second and third, they'll play back for Chico Cardenas. 45, short X, this will give up the run, but you have Aparicio in there as a 2, and it's a ground ball C as well. So the other runner advances to third. Now they'll bring it up. They don't want that other run to score. Infield will come up for Kurt Blefrey. 3-7's a K. They move the infield back for Joe Levito. 2-6 is a roller short. 1-0 Twins. And here is Dick Allen. 1-7, let's take a look at Dick Allen's 1972 MVP card. He's not had a lot of home runs this year, but he's had a ton of walks and a nice batting average. The home runs should come, as they say, as long as you're making contact. 1-7 is triple, 1-6 double. That is a 3-base hit. With nobody out, they will play it back for Carlos May. 48 off Murphy is a clean single, and this game is tied. And May will attempt a stolen base. Ooh, and a 16 is rolled, and the White Sox are now running themselves out of innings. Carlos May, stealer. It's a 15, +1 for Mitterwald, but he's being held. That's a called stealing. That's 2 of them. One more called stealing, and we'll take their car keys away. So 1 out now. In the bottom of the second of a 1-1 tie, and it's Bill Melton. 62 flies to left, and with 2 outs, it's Buddy Bradford. 58 is a K. We'll go to the third, a 1-1 game. Rod Carew. 38 is a fly ball to right field. Larry Eisel, 110, flies to left field. And Tony Oliva. 45, bouncer to short X, it's Aparicio. Don't even have to roll, it's already up there on the 2. If you're wondering, the quick math on this, shortstop 2, already have a result based on fielding rating, so I don't have to roll anymore. Chico Cardenas is also a 2 at short, so a lot of times if short and 2 are up there, I'll just look at the result without having to recalculate anything. Bottom of the third inning, it'll be Bob Stinson. 4-11 is a K. Louis Aparicio, 49, base hit. And it's George Orta. We could really use a nice George Orta extra base hit in this situation. 46 is a walk. We'll take that. 2 on, 1 out for talking Tony Muser. 310 is a walk off his card, and the bases are loaded. The White Sox love to draw walks. And now you got Murderer's Row here. This is where you can put this series away at this particular time. Ken Henderson, bases loaded, 1 out. Playing back. Here's the pitch. 1-6. Let's take a look at Ken Anderson, folks. Great year for the White Sox in 1974. 20 home runs, a .292 average, 66 walks. The five-tool guy, a superstar five-tool guy. If he could do this year in and year out, which is something, unfortunately, that Ken couldn't really do over his career, which is a shame. But 1-6 homer, 1-9 double. It is going to hit the wall as a double. Muser will hold at third as a Chi Sox are going to run out of this one. That's a two-run double. Scoring Aparicio and Orta. Muser at third. It is a 3-1 game now. It is second and third, one out. They're going to have to bring the infield up for Dick Allen. 1-7, same result as his last at-bat. Triple, 1-2-6 double, and he rolls the 6 triple with Dick Allen. And now, finally, the White Sox have got this machine rolling offensively. They're putting men on and they're scoring them. They've been putting guys on all year, but they haven't been scoring them, and now they are today. Infield up with 1 out for Carlos May. 2-9 is a single to right field. That'll score Allen. And in a 6-1 game now May will steal. They don't care if he gets thrown out with a big lead. And he rolls a 15 and does indeed get thrown out. So that's George Mitterwald's +1 arm has gunned down 3 guys in the first 3 frames. And the White Sox, they are not allowed to steal anymore in this game. So consider that to be a home run in here or something like that. The bases are now empty with 2 outs in a 6-1 game, and it's Bill Melton. 57 is a bouncer to second base. Cruz a 2-16, but that is an error. The inning continues. For Buddy Bradford. 2-11, rolls to third. Is this going to be enough for the young Bart Johnson? Starter 6. He does not have to pitch deep into this game. But unfortunately, we might have to dig into the White Sox bullpen to finish this thing. But it is 6-1. White Sox, big opportunity today. Can they finish this thing? George Mitterwald, top of the 4th. 1-7 is a walk. And if you're wondering, folks, 1-7 on normal cleanup hitter Harmon Killebrew is a home run. So that's been the Twins season in a nutshell. Just blown opportunity after, yeah. Eric Soderholm. Another 1-7, but let's take a look at his card. Eric Soderholm's 74 card. A good defensive third baseman, 10 homers, 276, future White Sox player. Great personality. They love him, Eric Soderholm, everywhere he played. 1-7, homer, 1-9, double. That is gone, and Bart Johnson has opened the door for the Minnesota Twins in the 4th. It is 6-3. Jim Holt. 1-9 lines to third. Chico Cardenas, 112 is a walk. Kurt Blefrey, 39 is a fly ball to center. And with 2 outs and a man on, it's Joe Levito. 45, short X, but it's Aparicio, and he makes the play. 6-3 game. White Sox being asked to get some more offense to protect their pitching staff. Bob Stinson. 1-8 is a K. Louis Aparicio, 6'11", right X. This is Oliva, a 2E9 in right field. That's not an error because you got to plug his proper E rating in. And with 2 outs, Orta, who reached base in this game. That's a start. 48 base hit for Orta. My God, he's been on twice. Runner at first for Talkin', Tony Muser. 2-2, pops to short. 6-3 in the 5th. It'll be Rod Carew. 46 is a K. Larry Eisel. 45, short X. This is Aparicio again. Plug in the short. And that's an out. 2 outs now for Tony Oliva. 48, Bart Johnson. Sky to center field. 3 up and 3 down. 5 in a row retired by Bart. Qualifies for the win. If he runs into trouble in the 6th, they'll get the kid out of there so he can't lose this thing. Bottom of the 5th for Tom Murphy. It'll be Ken Henderson who had the big hit in the 3rd. 34 flies to center field. And listen to the fans going nuts for Dick Allen, who's got a couple triples in today. My goodness, 6 bases already for Dick Allen. And here's the pitch. 5-10 off of Tom Murphy. Double 1 of 15 is a double. He's overqualifying himself for hitting for the cycle, folks. He's got 2 triples and a double. Dick Allen is red freaking hot. And now it's Carlos May. 56, Short X. 2E12 for Chico Cardenas, and that is a single. Tough break for the Twins. Chico Cardenas, a normally reliable shortstop, cannot make a play on that. That is a base hit. Runners on the corners. They're going to bring the infield up, and it's Bill Melton. Murphy has not hit a point of weakness, as the White Sox surprisingly have been efficient bringing the runners in with minimal base runners when they're not getting thrown out stealing. So Murphy will continue here with the infield up and face Bill Melton. 47 is single 1-3, and he lines out on an 8. And with 2 outs, big moment here for Buddy Bradford. The pitch to Buddy. 65 is a fly ball to center, and somehow Tom Murphy has survived this game. 6 runs allowed with an error in there somewhere and a bunch of guys caught stealing. We go to the 6th inning, and it will be Mitterwald leading off. 62 off of Bart Johnson, rolls to first. Eric Soderholm, 2-3, rolls to short, and with 2 outs, it's Jim Holt. 32 lines to second base. The kid Bart Johnson, 8 retired in a row in the middle innings after that 2-run homer to Soderholm, a little wake-up call, and he's been great. And he cannot lose today. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, Tom Murphy is starter 7. But I think they're going to get him out after 5. He's not a very good pitcher anyway. And they're going to go to a lefty now, John Morris. As the Twins see this series coming to an end, and possibly their season coming to an end, as they've been really crappy this year. John Morris will come in out of the Twin bullpen, a lefty reliever to replace Ron Peranowski, who got too old. John Morris actually was a Brewer, same division, in 71, 2-2 with a 3.71 ERA in 68 innings. Nice little pitcher here. John Morris will come on in the 6th and face Bob Stinson, who will finish this game. And Tom Egan is an E16 +2 arm T1-20 catcher. So you just don't want to... He's had his problems defensively already. We don't want to bring in a bad defensive catcher with only 9 outs to get. So Stinson will stick around to face John Morris. 58 flies to right. Louis Aparicio. 2-8 is a fly ball to center, and with 2 outs, it's George Orta. And no, we're going to take Orta out. He's not that great against lefties. We have a Bucky Dent to bring in. Dent will pinch hit and play second base. Pitch to Bucky Dent. 1-5 is a roller to short. All right, the Chi Sox have all their defense in with 9 outs to get. Bart Johnson, and you have Dave Lemons and Jack Ager warming. In the 7th, it'll be Chico Cardenas. 36 is a walk. Now you got Kurt Blefary, and this is N. Levito and Carew. 3 straight lefties, and you know what? They're going to pull him. They're pulling the kid after a walk in the 7th inning, to the groans of White Sox fans, but they're protecting this kid. He is the only pitcher who can't pitch on 3 days rest, and he does walk a ton of lefties. So they're going to pull him with a big 3-run lead and make this White Sox bullpen win a game. I mean, what's the point? I mean, if your bullpen fails, you're not going to do anything in the playoffs anyway. So they got to get this bullpen going on the White Sox. And so Dave Lemons will come on in the 7th with a runner at first. Kurt Blefary will start taking guys out. We'll get him out of there, and you know what? We'll bring in Harmon. Harmon Killebrew gets back into the game, so his consecutive game streak continues. Killebrew will be announced. Let's take a look at Harmon's card. And here you see, yeah, he's much better against lefties than righties. Comes in off the bench to finish the game at DH. Killebrew, by the way, 254, 28 home runs, and 114 walks in 1971, his last good year. And now the pitch to Harmon Killebrew. 1-5 is a walk. That's a strikeout versus a righty. Two men reach, and it's Joe Levito, and they're going to take this guy out. Bring in the new center fielder, Cleo James. Cleo was a former Cub. He'll take over in center field for Joe Levito. You got Carew coming up next. I think Lemons will pitch through to Carew, and if this thing gets ugly, they're not going to go along with him. So first and second, nobody out, and the pitch to Cleo James. 65 off Lemons is second C. Runners at second and third for Carew. Have to bring it up for an A bunter, but Lemons is good against lefties. This is the batter he needs to at least face and hopefully get out. Infield up, the pitch to Rod Carew. 68 is a sac fly to right field. It's a 6-4 game. You have a runner at second with 2 outs and Larry Heisel, who actually has more homers against righties than lefties. So Lemons will actually pitch to him in a 6-4 game with Oliva on deck. The pitch to Larry Heisel. 35 is a K. And that'll end the inning. 6-4. In Chicago, James and Killebrew will just play the positions where Blefary and Levito played. Stretch time here in Chicago. White Sox up 6-4. We've been listening to this light on the south side blues mix. Some interesting stuff on here. Syl Johnson's in here. Really great song by Arlene Brown, I'm a Streaker Baby. Let's throw that one down here. Get this thing going here. Bottom of the 7th in Comiskey. John Morris will continue. He will face Tony Muser leading off in the bottom of the 7th. 2-7 is a base hit. Now you have Ken Henderson. 1-2 is a Lomax. Oh, they caught Muser catnapping off of first base on the Lomax. A 5-5-3 double play. That's a mess. And with 2 outs, Dick Allen, 8 bases and 3 trips. 3-6 is ball 4. Can't steal him. So with runner at first and 2 outs, it's Carlos May. 3-6. Let's take a look at Carlos May's card, and well, it's the power number there. It's a 1972 Carlos May, 308. He and Dick Allen both hit 308, 12 home runs. But 3-6 is homer 1 to 2, fly ball the rest against lefties, and that's a fly ball to left or right. Well, it didn't work out, Arlene. We tried to get you to rally the team, and it didn't work. Okay. All right, so Morris gets out of that, and we go to the 8th. Lemons will face Oliva, and then we'll get Jack Aker in there. So it'll be Tony Oliva leading off in the 8th inning. 2-8 is a grounder to first. And that'll do it with righties coming up. So an inning and a third for Dave Lemons. And it's Jack Aker, one of 2 improved. They needed to go out in free agency and find a righty closer setup guy. Jack Aker was a fine guy doing that for the Yankees in this era, with an ERA always around 2.5. He was acquired, and then they improved Terry Forster to become the closer. Hasn't worked out yet, and those 2 guys need to get the final 5 outs. Put up or shut up time for the Chi Sox pen here today. So in the 8th inning, with 1 out, Jack Aker will face cleanup hitter George Mitterwald. And here's the pitch. 46 off of Aker is double 1-2 base hit. And now the tie run is Eric Soderholm. Let's take a look at his card. Oh, we did look at his card. So I'm not going to look at that again. It's got the 1-7 card. The pitch to Eric Soderholm. 45 off of Aker is a double to center field. Here we go, folks. Oliva, or Mitterwald I should say, doesn't have to run. So you have second and third. The tie run at second base in a 6-4 game. And you got Holt. Holt, interestingly enough, let's take a look at him. Very symmetrical player. Bringing the lefty doesn't improve your chances a whole lot. A solid, very solid 297. Looks like he should be over 300 when you look at his card. His best year And Aker doesn't give up a lot of hits to lefties, but a lot of walks, and there's a base open. So he will pitch to Jim Holt. Second and third, 1 out. They will play back with a 2-run lead. No need to bring the infield up. Here's the pitch to Jim Holt. 4-4, Jack Aker, homer, 1-19. It is gone, and the White Sox bullpen blows another one. Jack Aker comes in and does nothing but give the White Sox a deficit of 7-6. Unbelievable, horrible relief work by the White Sox. Trying to get 5 outs, and Aker can't do a thing. It's Chico Cardenas. 4-11, first X. Tony Muser's a 2E14. And Muser kicks the ball. He's the good defensive first baseman. Oh well. You see the body language of the team, you know, once your closer or your bullpen blows stuff, you know, the body language isn't there. Harmon Killebrew now, the runner at first and 1 out. 66 is a fly to center. And with 2 outs, it is Cleo James. 52 rolls back to the mound. There is a slight bit of... Phil Roof's got a 0 arm, but he's an E16 catcher. Mitterwald's +1 arm, but it's an E4 catcher. I think they'll just leave it alone. 7-6 game. White Sox, I'd say they're stunned, but it's happened pretty regularly this year. Their bullpen, and last year, it just blows up. You need Wilbur Wood to pitch every day. But that's just not going to happen. Anyway, bottom of the 8th inning. 7-6 game. Plenty of bats and sticks here. John Morris is a lefty who gets lefties out. He's pitched 2 innings. You got a bunch of righties coming up. We're going to go Bill Campbell here in the 8th. Bill Campbell, very young Bill Campbell, 1974, 8-7 with a 2.63 ERA for the Twins in 120 innings. He will come in the 6th, in the 8th, to face the number 6 hitter, Bill Melton. Let's show you Bill Melton's card before he steps in. He's had some big hits, home runs this year. He had a big 3-run homer in the 8th inning in Game 2. 71 Melton, 33 home runs, 269 average, good glove at third base. Arguably his best year. And here is the pitch to Bill Melton. 65 off Campbell, rolls to second base. Now Buddy Bradford. 6'10", short X. Chico Cardenas at 2E12 at short. That's not going to be an error. You got to plug in the proper E rating, and that is an out. And now Bob Stinson. 1-5 is a walk. Now you got Aparicio in the 9-hole. Pitch to Louis. 62 off Campbell, rolls back to the mound. And that's how relief pitchers are supposed to do it. We go to the 9th. Carew leads off. Heisel, Oliva. 2 of the next 3 guys are lefties. Oh, heck, let's bring Terry Forster in. It can't get any worse, can it? Terry Forster comes trotting out of the White Sox bullpen to a smattering of applause, I suppose. 6-5 with a 2.25 ERA in 100 innings in 1972. Really outstanding card. He's pitched horribly this year. Terribly. His ERA is over 10. So he needs to pitch a scoreless 9th just to bring the ERA down if he can. As the White Sox are down 7-6 in this one. Rod Carew leads off. 2-3, rolls the third. Larry Heisel. 4-12, skies out. And Tony Oliva. 4-10, center X. This is Henderson, a 2E6. And a 3 up and 3 down inning. That does little. Doesn't get him a save, but at least he pitched a 3 up and 3 down inning. Let's go to the bottom of the 9th. Bucky Dent, Tony Muser, and then the meat comes up. Pete Reichert, the closer, is warming, but Bill Campbell will stick around a little bit and face at least Bucky Dent, leading off in the 9th inning. They don't have another infielder that could pinch hit for Dent. Williams and Ian, and yeah, they already got word out of there, and Dent gets on base enough. The pitch to Bucky Dent. 67 off Campbell, they're rolling off his card. And he strikes out. Talking Tony Muser and Ken Henderson, 2 lefties, and that'll do it. Bill Campbell will leave after an inning and a third. And Pete Reichert will come on in, see if he can get the final 2 outs. Let's take a look at Reichert. He was a Dodger in 72. 2-3 with a 2.25 ERA. We got him onto the Twins a couple years ago, actually, and he's sticking around there. Twins once had Reichert, Peronowski, and Stan Williams at the height of their powers closing out games. And now all they have left is Reichert and a pretty weak Stan Williams. But Bill Campbell's the new kid on the block, so. All right. It'll be Tony Muser. Down a run in the 9th. 7-6. Muser hits lefties fine. On the bench, you do have Tom Egan and Walt Williams. And you could pinch hit here. And I think they're gonna do this. They're gonna pull Muser, because they're going to go for the homer chance with Tom Egan. Let's take a look at Tom Egan as a pinch hitter here. Tom Egan, a lot of home runs for him in 71 for the White Sox. 10 of them in 250 at-bats. Wants to get a homer off the Reichert card and tie this thing, instead of Tony Muser, who doesn't have as many chances of getting on base. So Tom Egan will be the pinch hitter. And here is the pitch to Tom Egan. 47 off of Reichert is a strikeout. Wouldn't have mattered. And with 2 outs, it is Ken Henderson. Had a big day, but the White Sox, they need him to come through here in the 9th. Here's the pitch to Ken Henderson. 66 off Reichert, single 1-15, and he rolls a 19. I can't believe it. Single 1-15 to let Dick Allen come to the plate, and he cannot hit it. He rolls a 19 on 1-15. That is a liner to second base. And this is just a battle of bullpens, folks. Pretty simple. Twins know how to finish games, though they often aren't in a situation to finish games. And the White Sox have no clue. Blown 6-1 lead in a closeout Game 6. My goodness, folks. The series is tied 3 apiece, and both these clubs really just don't have a lot of salt in them, I'll tell you that. So let's do the line here in this one. Forster, 3 up and 3 down in the 9th. Jack Aker, though, comes in, 3 hits and 3 runs, and gets the loss. Dave Lemons did an okay job in an inning and a third. He really has been the best pitcher all year for the White Sox. He came in after a leadoff walk and gave up a walk and a sac fly and a K. And Bart Johnson did a nice job in a no decision. 3 hits, but all those walks really hurt him. He gave up actually 4 runs. Gave up 4 runs, walked 4, struck out 5. Pretty much all the guys he put on base scored. Almost all of them did. No decision. So Morris gets the win. Reichert gets the save. Reichert struck out a guy. Inning and a third for Campbell. A walk and a strikeout of a guy. 2 innings from Morris, coming on in the 6th and 7th inning to get a win. A hit and a walk. They rightly pulled Tom Murphy, who was awful. 9 hits, 6 runs. All came early. There's an error in here, so only 5 of these turn out to be earned. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. George Mitterwald's +1 arm throwing, cutting down 3 White Sox early when they were really looking like they were going to blow these guys out of the water. And they kind of did. It was 6-1, but that's what happens, folks. 1019, 0109, 76610, 76610, 5655. Twins put 11 men on base. White Sox put 15 men on base. That is Game 6. And this division, we'll look at the... there's nothing going on in the American League Midwest this year. We'll probably just have one of these teams will win it. Any of them can. And probably not a wild card. Not impressed with the Twins or the White Sox at this point. Of course, don't blame Dick Allen. He is just tearing it up. And he was on the on-deck circle in the 9th inning of that game. 10 and 11 are the White Sox. Still in striking distance. They're only hitting 265 with a 4.10 ERA, and let's talk about the back end of the White Sox bullpen. The closer, Terry Forster. A win, 2 losses, just 2 saves. 7 1/3 innings, he's given up 9 runs, 7 earned, for an ERA of just under 10. Jack Aker, he's got a loss and 2 saves, 10 2/3 innings, he's given up 7 runs. Lou Krause, 4 runs and 7. Lemons, 3 and 8. Wilbur Wood has 5 complete games and is now 4 and 3. Bradley, 2 and 1. They're just going to have all these guys go for complete games, I'm going to guess, until they figure something out how to finish. Dick Allen is 29 for 73 this year. 397 with 16 walks. But just a single home run. Very bizarre year for Dick Allen. He's got a over 500 on base and a 397 batting average with just 1 homer, but he has 14 RBI. Bill Melton does have 6 home runs and 17 RBI. Having a fine year. Just 265 as a club. That's nice. I thought it would be a little bit better, but that's still nice. Let's look at the Twins. They are now 6 and 8. Hitting 263 with a 4.54 ERA. Blyleven, the ace, has only 1 win this year. Incredible. He's just 1 and 1. Chico Cardenas leads the club with 4 homers. How's Harmon Killebrew doing, you're wondering? Harmon Killebrew is 8 for 43. He's hitting 186. Kind of explains why he sat that one out. With just a single home run and 3 RBIs. So the Twins are getting old right before our eyes, but the White Sox just did not take advantage of it. So we'll play a Game 7 here and give you the result. Game 7, it'll be Burt home Blyleven for the Twins. And it will be Tom Bradley. Good pitching matchup. Tom Bradley, Burt Blyleven in the Game 7. We'll give you the results at the end of the video. Thanks for checking this out, folks. We'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, here is the box score from the Game 6 Twin victory, 7-6. Getting that road win to force a Game 7 in Chicago. Kind of similar to what we've been seeing. We have Tom Bradley on short rest against Burt Blyleven on short rest. White Sox go with a right-handed heavy lineup in this one, putting Orta, Muser, and Stinson on the bench against a righty, which is weird, but because Blyleven is so good against lefties. And Bradley was great in his last start, and he's great again today. Bottom of the first, Henderson double, RBI single by Dick Allen. He does get a steal a base. Couldn't get one of those in there. 1-0. They add on in the third, RBI double by Ken Henderson. He's having a great year. Henderson, Allen, and Carlos May are really having good years. The big 5th inning, after an out, bad defense by the Twins. Center fielder makes a 2-base error. Then you get an Aparicio single, a Henderson double, walks to Allen and May. It's 6-0 at this point. Blyleven leaves after 6 innings, pretty disinterested. 9 hits, 6 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. But of course, in the 8th inning, the Twins would make a 6-0 deficit interesting. Leading off in the 8th against Tom Bradley is Jim Holt. He hits a solo home run there. 6-1 game. After an out, he walks Blefary, a single to Cleo James. He strikes out Carew, and we think that Bradley will get out of the inning. He does not. He gives up a hit, hits his point of weakness, and oh my goodness, we have to go to the bullpen. So we go to Terry Forster to face Tony Oliva. He strikes him out to end the 8th inning, and it's a 6-2 game. And Forster is left in there for a chance to close it out of the 9th, but of course he cannot. He gives up a homer to Killebrew, a walk to Soderholm, does strike out Jim Holt, but he gives up a single to Chico Cardenas. And then Jack Aker has to see if he can get a couple outs. He faces Cleo James, strikes him out. He walks Joe Levito to bring in the tie-run Rod Carew, but Carew flies to left to end the series. And Aker and Forster get a couple outs each, piecemeal together a Much harder than needed to be save in a game. The White Sox were winning 6-0, but it is a victory and progress for the White Sox bullpen. That's progress. They get a save, they finish it, they figure out how to finish it. I think in the future, they're just going to have the pitcher come in at the beginning of the inning, because I've noticed the inherited runner thing doesn't work very well here for the White Sox. Break up the White Sox. They do indeed get a series win, and they've crawled back to the top of mediocrity in the American League Midwest. There they are. The White Sox are back at 500, 11-11. The Royals are 9-9, and the Twins and Brewers are right there in a scrum of a very underachieving American League Midwest. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you next time.